¿Qué ondas, primos?
Primas.
Y primes.
Welcome to
My primos.
My primos.
My
Primo
podcast.
My name is Freddie.
My name's Kevin Garcia.
My name is Elia Maria Madrid.
Well, this is Chikume, whenever I can make it.
My Primos podcast discusses all things fandom and pop culture,
From comic books,
Movies?
To whatever obsession we have this week.
but with a Latine
Latine.
Malatine.
perspective. Remember, we're all primos,
We're all primes.
We're all primos.
no matter what part of the world we're from.
I had trouble reading a thread on Threads. I was like, this thing is literally called Threads. It says part 1. How do I get to part 2? And when I clicked comments, it said make a comment. I'm like, no, I want to read the comments.
Oh no.
¿Qué ondas, primos, primas, and primes? And welcome back to My Primos podcast. My name is Primo Freddie. Welcome to the show. With me tonight is my primo and yours, Mr. Kevin Garcia.com. Say what's up, Kevin.
What's up, Kevin?
Mr. Kevin Garcia, filling that hole, everybody, in my heart,
On the hole.
in my heart,
Fill in the
and any
hole.
other
Yeah,
hole.
Any hole in a storm? That's not how that goes.
Whoa, well, hey, any hole in a storm, right? Anyways, but they're also, of course, joining us tonight. Welcome back, Miss Spice Illustrations. You were missed very, very much.
I lived.
You live. She lives. Say what's up, Spiced Illustrations.
What's up, Spiced Illustrations?
Look at
She
that.
lives.
Change it up.
She helps other people live with her charity work. I love it.
That's
Aw.
true. Am I gonna say like JDRF nominated Spice
Yeah.
Illustrations? Look at
Yeah.
that. Look at that. What's that about, Elia? If people don't know what are we
Yeah.
talking about here?
So yeah, for those who don't know, I am an ambassador with the JDRF, now called Breakthrough T1D.
That's
They've
the
rebranded.
juvenile diabetes research, right?
Yes, but now they've rebranded, so it's not just exclusively juvenile diabetes centered, it's everyone type 1 diabetes. So I'm an ambassador with them. I do streams to raise money, and they have the Blue Heart Awards coming up in 2 weeks, and I was nominated for a couple of categories. So I'm
Congratulations.
excited. Thank
Yeah,
you. I'm
definitely.
excited.
Well, I'm excited tonight too because we have somebody coming back. We haven't had him on in a while. You know, he's always friendly online. We've hung out. We've had a couple drinks, you know, there was an argument, I don't say a debate between the right way to make an old fashioned between Chikume and this guest. I'm talking about multi-talented Mr. Henry Barajas. Say what's up, Henry.
Hola, primos y prima. Who are we? Who? Okay, that's that. I haven't thought about that since that happened.
It's
Yeah.
been all
Who's-
Walter talked
who was the argument with? I didn't know if it was.
It
an
was
argument.
it was Chikume, the other primo that's like
Yeah,
the
oh,
beach
that's
ball, the
right.
Wilson on the island of the show.
That's right.
He's out right now for a bit. He'll be back soon. We have a
Yeah.
very, very, very welcoming and open paternity leave. It's like 4 years, so you know he
it
can
makes sense,
come
though,
and go.
'cause
Yeah,
honestly, I think the U.S. should adopt that as well.
yeah. Come on,
I think
make it fun.
like just for context for people, this was at the Texas Latino Comic-Con hotel bar lobby, and
at like 11 at night or something. I
Yeah,
remember
I
it
love
was
it.
so much fun.
yeah, and I remember talking about it, but I didn't realize it was,
It was a very much enjoyable conversation to be a fly on the wall to, because I am not 100% versed on the cocktails and the right way.
Sure.
And literally, I love you guys walk up to the bar. The bar is like empty. There's nobody there.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. That's right.
And the lady, there's the
Yeah,
nicest
yeah,
woman in
yeah.
the world behind the bar. She's like,
That's right.
what
It was
do you
her
guys
first
want?
day, or she's not a bartender.
Oh,
So
no.
it was fine. It was really
Yeah.
cool because, like she was just doing this job that obviously a lot of people, passed up on, or they don't have staff for. So
Sure.
the hotel bar was open, which is very unusual. And at that time anywhere, and she didn't know how to make a cocktail. And I, worked in bars, and we will talk about the book, but I taught her how to make a old fashioned, and I guess somebody else had a different idea of what an old fashioned is. So
I love how that's the thing, because Chikume and you walked up to each other and we're like, okay, let's make this happen. And then you started spouting off ingredients, and Chikume's, no, it's this way. And you're like, bro, no, it's like this. And like you started
Now
like
I'm
dropping like, well,
curious.
yeah,
what the correct one is, because I love
Henry,
old fashions.
If you're such an expert on this, you should write a book about it.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Primos. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. But Kevin Garcia, Spice Illustration, of course, Henry Barajas. These are our guests tonight, our usual hosts as well. But Primos, remember, follow us at My Primos Podcast for all our posts. Check out our content. Mr. Kevin Garcia does a lot of reviews recently for films. We put them on there as well. I do a couple reviews too, and of course, we put some of Elia's work on there. She's if you haven't noticed, our new summer logo is out. She designed that for us. It's pretty fun. I'm a fan of it. So check out, of course, her work. You know, she does the commission sometimes. You know, never know. Spend those coins, like we said about the webtoons, right? Spend the coins. Let's help each other along. By the way, I caught up on I'm like on episode, like, I want to say like chapter 84, 85 of the Kiss Bet. Okay, it's really good.
Yeah,
I'm hooked.
I saw in the chat that you're like, oh.
Yeah, I'm fucking Patrick. There you go. That's all I'm going to say for those listening that know. If you know, you know. But tonight, Henry, well, let's talk about you tonight. Let's just kind of talk about what you're up to, what you've been up to, what's going on.
What's going on? Yeah,
Gila Girl #1.
That's
Chispa.
Chispa Comics. I am in. So I was approached I guess 2 years ago to write a story for the Chispa universe. Hector Rodriguez and David Bowles, they reached out to me, and there was a bunch of amazing people involved, and they gave us all a list, like who, what interests you, and I was, I guess I was quick on the draw and was able to pick Gila Girl. It was literally like a 3-sentence description of a character, and it was fun to take something from scratch and turn it into something that you never know if it's going to move on and do live beyond me. But it's basically about this girl named Angela who on her 18th birthday becomes a chispa and has super strength and adopts the abilities that of a lizard. And growing up in Tucson, you see lizards everywhere. The Gila monster is around. So someone who I'd been really wanting to work with, Salome Antoinette, someone who I just really respect their work and who's always hustling and who's always looking, to work. And it was such a great experience because, when we got started and when the script was done, she was able to, draw it. She was sending me pages and panels and ideas like every day. And that's like something you can't buy, and you can't teach someone with that kind of hustle for making comics.
Now for people joining us with Chispa, the idea of Chispa Comics is that there is a universe in which there are people just born with powers that show up around their 18th birthday. They are called Chispas, sparks. And a lot of us here, we've had a bunch of other Chispa writers on as well, and artists. I love that you're taking your history. I was going to say from the desert, but your history from the Southwest and tying it into the character. How much of that is your hometown?
Well, it's not my hometown. It was like one of those things where I decided to put it in Chicago, just because I've been to Chicago and it takes place in Chicago, so everything's always in New York or LA, and I know a lot of stuff was happening in Texas. That was something I heard from David, and I just wanted to like take this character, put it in another city that really is such a, if you've ever been, it's not East Coast, but it's not Midwest. It's very much an amalgamation of both cultures and personalities of people that are like, they're nice, but they're not patient, or they're not like, they're not gonna blow smoke up your keister.
Yeah.
So so they're very direct, and I kind of wanted to have that that style of in the book, but like, just to answer your question, if you read the comic, there is a distinct color of the costume that gets changed at the end. but that is definitely like a nod to the Gila monster, which we were kind of really trying to inject into the lizard of choice. But it was really like I wrote the script on a train ride from San Diego Comic-Con back to LA. I got sick. I guess it was last year. Yeah, so I was like listening to Elric, the albino fantasy series, and
The Dark Elf.
Yeah, the Dark Elf, and his whole thing is his blood is killing him, which I think is a very cool power, or like something that you can like hang a lot on. And so I decided to make the character diabetic, and I know a lot of people that have diabetes. Runs rampant in my family. I'm lucky that it hasn't caught up to me yet, but that was definitely a inspiration, which was fun to take the Elric character and try to like use that element as a way as for a superhero, and it's not really
Elia sent a great message today out of nowhere. We're talking about the episode tonight, reading your book. What did you send, Elia? What did you say? It was awesome.
Yeah, it was something like, God, just to see a character with diabetes, like I feel seen, like I don't read a lot of comics that have, or anything in general, where you see representation, not just of diabetes in general, but type 1. Like they reference insulin and just the moment where she was just like, God, living with a chronic illness. I'm like, I feel that. Like, I don't know. It felt good to like read it and see that in there. For sure.
That was fun. Yeah, no, it was as a writer you get to act like you have these things, you get to like, wow, man, just have these like I'm joking, but seriously, like in all seriousness, it's one of those things where you're like, there is such an emphasis on, like how do you write and one of the challenges and why I don't do superhero comics on my own is how do you make something that resonates with people today? Like, how do you make something that, like when I read Spider-Man, it was like, that was it. And that was the idea of like, how do I write a comic book that's superhero genre that I hope a kid finds and sees their life, and or at least this time and what kids are dealing with.
Talking about real sorry to cut you off, Kevin. I don't want to miss this out. I'm gonna lose it because I'm gonna jump into other stuff. But you talk about connecting with something, right? Not to give too much out of away of the book, but there's scenes in the book that talk about the youth being displayed here, doing things that youth are doing now, right? It's not like when we grew up and you saw, hey, yeah, the older kids are doing this, the college kids are doing this, or we have to. Oh, I'm in high school, I'm in junior high, I can't have a voice. I can't really go out there and do something. I'm kind of scared or skittish, but your characters don't. This is what kids my kids' age, are doing. They have the balls to kind of go like, no, I know what's up. This is all a fucking game. Like, let's stand up for ourselves. So I really, you're doing that, man. I really enjoyed that about the book.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I'm working on something else that touches on a historic protesting within the Chicano community, and specifically, I think like that is, the Chicano movement was started in schools and started with high schools here in East LA, started with the college campuses, and the so this was being done in late 60s. If you look up 1968 in Chicano history in general, it's such a big year for brown people. So that was kind of what I was trying to pay homage to, and also recognizing what kids talk about and do today. Just because there is supposedly a safety net for kids to go out and protest and exercise their First Amendment rights, because you're hoping cops aren't going to attack children. But that, as we've been seeing, doesn't always happen. So. But yeah, that was the goal. Was like, hey, how do we talk? Sally identifies as queer. The character as much as we could express in an issue, we try to flesh out the character. It's obvious they're an ally. We haven't, we tried not to explore sexual orientation in the book, just because there's only so much you could do with 20 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're setting up a hero. So it was fun to like try to parrot what's happening, but also honor what has happened before us.
Well, I appreciate that you specifically put a spotlight on kids arguing for trans rights, and also a lot of signs there that says specifically Black trans lives matter. That's something that's important to a lot of my students. And it's just, it's one of those things that has strangely become a battleground lately for some reason. And I don't know, I guess I wasn't expecting to see it in the book, and I'm really glad it's there. Was that something specifically that you wanted to make sure was there in the book?
Yeah, I mean, it's how many times do you open a superhero origin story and they're chasing a random guy in a car that just like robbed a bank? It's always like a dude in a car downtown and they're shooting and the cops are like toppling over and the hero like just barely saves the day. I think it's important to establish as much like the character Gila girl is always going to be cool and is always going to do something cool and is always going to be like the the source of the kinetic energy. How do you connect that with the character's secret identity or who they are as a person? So it was a good way to get around having to come up with something that like really puts that character in its suit so quickly. And so you see them wearing and like emphasizing they are who they are as a moral in their moral compass and their moral standards and who they are as a person. So yeah, like, and that's the thing, like these are supposed to be for kids. Like these comics, like you hope and pray to God that a child picks up a comic book and hopefully that's the book that sets them on a horrible life of reading comics and
spending all their money, whatever they can. Yeah,
hating
I think
everything.
it was my downfall.
Yeah, so that was the goal, is to trap someone into the relentless, horrible life of being a comic book reader.
Hook them when they're young, man. That's what it is.
I will say, yeah, if 13-year-old me picked this comic up, for sure.
That's the goal. Is definitely, for 30-year-olds to look back and say, my 13-year-old self would like this. That's what
absolutely
we're really writing.
Goal made.
Mm-hmm. I have a quick kind of a question too. I mean, you mentioned yourself earlier that you don't necessarily run towards a superhero book. Am I fair to say that?
Well, when I make my own comics, I'm reading Ultimate Spider-Man for the first time, and
the new series, I'm assuming. Or
the Jonathan Hickman stuff.
I'm quite enjoying that myself. I'm surprised I'm enjoying it myself.
I have one of them right here. Yeah. Chicharito and Wilson. I got all 5 issues here reading them. I love superhero comics. I grew up on superhero comics, but for a long time, if you wanted to write superhero comics in this industry, you had to do anything but superhero comics because just because it doesn't look good on you if you're just doing your version of Spider-Man.
Yeah,
sure.
And it just doesn't, but the goal is to make a comic and to tell a story. So, but yeah, I mean, my goal when I write a comic or when I start writing a series is my own, at least, independent creator own work, is to do something that is not just not something you can find elsewhere, just to do something that people can resonate to in a different genre or different kind of set of characters that avoids capes, really.
Yeah. I mean, my question, I think, kind of to elaborate a little more, I feel as though not necessarily when you don't necessarily, like me, for example, if I'm writing a superhero book, like you said, it's not necessarily, my goal is not to make it super fantastical, even though it's a superhero book. I try to tether it somewhat to some form of a real life, right?
I mean, yeah.
Is that
like,
what you're talking about?
No. Comic, like superhero genre, is an interesting beast because the moment you start tethering it to reality, you start having to answer to everything that reality has. And so, like, there's that argument that Batman only beats up brown people if they're stealing a loaf of bread. Like how granular do you want to get when it gets to superhero comics? So the point is like, like Invincible is a good example of like a superhero comic that operates within its own universe and has its own conversations where, the kid finds out he's a superhero by throwing out the trash, which is, that's like, and then you see him in outer space killing, aliens or whatever. So that tethering of reality, is to the humanity and less to reality. So for me, when I'm writing, like for the first time writing Gila Girl, the idea was my question is to myself is, what is a kid now dealing with? And how do I talk about that? And how do I operate in that space versus, having it to deal in real life? I mean, the comic opens with the play. The idea is that this is already set like a shape, like I don't want to give this away, but if I ever get to number 2, the idea is to like use that first 2 pages as a preamble of what is going to happen next.
Cool.
So like it's like every panel counts. When you're writing comics, you're writing panels. So every time you read something, it's supposed to mean something. But to touch back at what you're saying about like tethering its reality, I mean, that's your prerogative, to do whatever you want in a superhero comic. Like you could go you could go in so many different directions, and the soul and the core of it is the story, and that's what you really have to service the most. You can set it in reality, you could set it in outer space, you can set it in a different dimension or heaven or hell, but you really have to like use the mechanics of story.
Well put. I mean, love the book, love the story. Like I said, I just kind of touching on that because I saw a lot of, I guess, real world connections, like you mentioned. That was the point, right? To talk about what's being talked about. But I mean, I love it so far, and I definitely hope that everybody listening picks up this book. It does come out this week, so just go out and look for it. Gila Girl launches June the 19th. By the time of this recording, this is going to be out this week. It's coming Wednesday, so definitely check it out. Now we'll take a quick break, and we'll dive into some more with Henry Barajas.
Cumbia. La vida sigue, la gente llora, el zapato vuela junto a tu boca, la gente cruza, los carros chocan y uno todo ignora. La vida es una corriente sin salida, aquella rosa marchitada. La vida es una corriente sin salida, aquella rosa marchitada, como si nada es olvidada.
We are back with Henry Barajas, and of course, we're going to dive into some more and more geeky talk about the geeky things we're into. Mr. Kevin Garcia, you wanted to talk about Las Tortugas Ninja.
Yeah, what the heck, man? I didn't even. I know you'd posted online, but I couldn't even. You have stolen my dream, man, because you did the adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Splintered Fate, and I just love the idea of doing a Turtles book. And I just want to know how that happened and what was your experience like with the four brothers?
It was cool because a friend of mine used to work at IDW. He was the editor on the property and got me this really cool opportunity. I got to write the prequel story that happens right as Splintered Fate, the one of the first Apple Arcade exclusive games that came out last year. So it was really cool to to get the assignment because when you make comics, and at least for me, I try to make comics as I love the medium and I have stories I want to tell, and there's like, there's something that that you want, that it's, you could write books, you could write music or whatever, but I really try to make this medium mine, and having the opportunity to write this story, there you go, there's all the people that worked on it, but it's this assignment in particular was like, these characters their voices have been in my head for years. I've been parroting them and imitating them my whole life, and it's so it was like, oh yeah, I know what to do. And what the fun thing about this comic in particular was like, I got to, you only get what I think this was like 16 pages or 20 pages or whatever. So you're like, you don't have much time to kind of like dive in as deep as you want. But what I wanted to say with the character really had to do with Master Splinter and Shredder, and have them talk, because the idea of the Ninja Turtles being in New York, having to fight the Foot forever, and just there being endless violence, you would think that Master Splinter would try to avoid all that and have some sort of diplomacy with the opposition. So yeah, that was my like, okay, here's what I have to say about the Ninja Turtles, and to have that experience and to play. It was cool that I got to beta test the game, and growing up playing the video games, my first birthday was Raphael Ninja Turtle birthday themed.
Nice.
So like, to have that kind of full circle moment was really cool. Yeah, I mean, I had bed sheets that I probably peed on growing up.
Hey,
that makes them more valuable now. They're collectors. Collector's edition.
Yeah,
collectors.
Piss
I had to
stains
convince
with
my mom
turtles.
to pay to join the Burger King's Kids Club.
Yes.
So that I can get a Ninja Turtles like stuff in the mail. Like she had to pay for it. I was like, my mom's like, I have to pay for this stupid thing, and I go like, you have to, because I get cool stickers.
Yeah.
All right.
My first ever comic was Turtles.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the other like one of those things where you get to see how the sausage is made, where
the turtle
when you get to make your own comics, you get to do whatever you want. But then when it's Ninja Turtles, it's a multi-million-dollar entity that is carefully protected, and has people that go, well, Donnie wouldn't say that, and I'm just like, well, actually, Donnie would say that,
because he said it in this issue
my whole life, like
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so to have that, to see like the black and white indie comic darling that everyone loved, that like revolutionized independent comics publishing, for it to be like a toy in the chess box of Paramount and Viacom, and to have like to go through that was just very funny to be like, oh, okay, don't write about your heroes, as they probably
I mean, that's exciting, man. Yeah,
I mean, and it also puts things in perspective. Like, this is not yours. This issue came out a year ago. It's going to be something I can always use as a footnote in my resume. This, it's something that like was exciting for 15 minutes and that you get to hang your hat on for the rest of your life, but it's not mine. And
but
I just bought a bunch of copies to give for free to kids.
Hey,
that's the way to do it, man.
It's a mark. Yeah.
You get to do so many things that I love, and then I remember you did Helm Greycastle like a year or two ago, and it started with a Kickstarter, and now it's like a trade from Image Comics, right?
It is. It came out 3 years ago.
God, man, it's just it's.
I have my copy somewhere here. I'll look for it. I do have it.
It's that kind of epic fantasy with like kind of the Dungeons and Dragons-esque, but there's a lot of like Mesoamerican influence.
Yeah.
How do you do all this diverse stuff? I mean, I love it.
Well, this was a comic that spawned out of the La Voz de Mayo comic that I learned about, that my Pascoyaki family was documented by Spanish priests during the Inquisition, and to be like, oh, my family dates as far back as the Inquisition, you know, like to
Wow.
you know, to be like, oh, like to have that like that connection was interesting, but also something that never like came up during a quinceañera or a family barbecue or something, you know, like you're just so far removed from from like your history and your people. So I've always loved fantasy. I love Lord of the Rings. I love playing D&D. So I wanted to find a way to set that world and to introduce you know, Mesoamerican history and Mexican people, brown people, Afro Latino people into the genre without it being like a thing, you know, like this. No one ever bats an eye at this book because it's set in Mexico. Like no one ever like if this was like, you know, if this was Lord of the Rings, then like all of a sudden people show up, then you're like, oh well, why are these,
Yeah.
you know, people of color here? Like there was a conscious decision to have the adventurers invade this space and to be the outsiders, and because, you know, it was so much fun to do that and to incorporate 5e role playing games, so that when you play these games set in Azteca, you're like, oh well, it would be natural that my character would be, you know, a jaguar knight or whatever you wanted them to be, and they could be brown, and it wouldn't be weird, or it wouldn't be, you know, you don't have to go into depth in explaining that. So
You don't have to sound the freaking trumpet to it, you know, like you
right,
don't have to
Yeah.
just
you don't have to
sound an
justify your
alarm.
existence, and that's the whole point.
That's always a big
Like-
thing for me, is when I feel like sometimes characters of books, like I like when they're fully into something, but also sometimes I feel like they have to justify their existence as something, which it's
Yeah.
nice when sometimes it just flows, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You could skip that whole part, and that was me being lazy. But I co-created that with Brian Valenza. We published that with Top Cow, and that was supposed to be in the Beyondtopia anthology, but I didn't read the email correctly, and
Oh no.
You did a whole
so I
graphic
pitched it
novel.
as its own series, and it, you know, came out to be very successful, and it's my best-selling independent work. And I mean, now the best thing you know, not the best, but the most well-read thing is the Dolores Huerta comic I wrote for the New York Public Education, you know, Unified School District. But yeah, Helm Greycastle is the like thing that a lot of people, you know, like and read, and it's pretty cool. But we made Beyondtopia with Fair Square Comics, and now we have a spin-off one issue, or the inaugural issue of Bandits of Batavia, which is the first story that was in the anthology, but it's about this character named Black Bull who is trying to who has to become a bandit to basically fight the other bandits in the government that is destroying his community and town in Indonesia. It's based on like actual Indonesian folklore, and this
cool.
was all really this is the baby that is Brian Valenza, who's currently a Marvel exclusive color artist, and he really wants to become a writer, and he insisted that I help him write it. And you know, when you get a chance to work with this kind of caliber art and team, you really can't say no. So
Yeah.
yeah,
This art is exquisite. My goodness.
yeah, very
So this
much.
is an active Kickstarter right now.
That is
people can
happening
search
right
for.
now. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we hope that people get into it and you know, and give it a shot. It's there's a lot of really cool covers. You get to be drawn into the book if you want.
Hey yo.
all kinds of rewards.
This is
yes.
awesome. No, definitely go check it out. Primos, support. You know, we talked about always putting
Mhm.
your money where we need it. This is why we prove
Yeah.
that our shit is good, and you got to make it happen. And spend those coins.
Yeah,
Spend
and
those coins.
if you can't spend the coin, share it. Maybe somebody
Mhm.
else might be in a position.
Definitely.
Sharing
No, but
helps
definitely
just
look
as
it out.
much.
Sharing helps.
Yep.
That's
Definitely
right.
does help. And so, Henry, you also, I mean, you're just working on stuff all the time, man. You know, I'm trying to like somehow bubble it all into 1 hour, which, you know, we'll try.
Like a
Definitely
boil.
We'll try. Really?
Okay, that's
Freeze
the
it
way to
off
put it.
even. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're the
spoil it.
boil of comic book or
Just
art.
pus.
I don't know,
Yeah.
plus and
You
interesting.
just ooze with talent.
Yeah.
Mm, ooze. Ooze. I like
Wow.
that. The ooze. I
Like
mean, he didn't write
Ninja
a
Turtles.
Ninja Turtles book. I mean,
Like ooze.
let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. But you also work on a very, I mean, long running. I mean, I don't know how to even like describe what Gil Thorpe is. Oh, there's some ads there.
Yeah, it's funny. There was no ad till you said that, and suddenly an ad popped
Look
up.
at that.
Well, it is. I mean, it is driven by ads, so it's
No,
free
it's
to
Hey,
read.
let's add it up.
Good the ads are
Yeah.
there. It's also good that they're in newspapers.
Yeah, it's cool because it runs in a particular newspaper. Shout out to the Current, and their like funny page is it's Peanuts, Doonesbury, Garfield, and then Gil Thorpe. And
Nice.
to
Nice.
have that kind of real estate is
Yeah.
something that I always dreamed of. I was that nerdy kid that read the paper every day, that read, and that always would read the funnies
Yep.
and would so it is an honor. But yeah, Gil Thorpe is a high school athletics director who coaches and mentors kids in Milford, and Milford is in a place that has never been fully established. But as you see here, you have Luke Martinez apologizing to his former coworker, who he was his boss, but now has taken over the head coach position, and tries to apologize. And I love this. Is one of my favorite strips that I've written. I've written 110 scripts, 6 days a script, 3 panels a day. So we're almost hitting 700 strips have been published.
Dang.
But
Let's
like the
go.
guy who's been drawing it has been drawing it since 2008. So he's like in like thousands of strips. But you have a moment where someone tries to apologize, and my favorite panel is that second panel where he says, I was a jerk, Paul, selfish, insecure. I'm still all of those things, but I'm working on it.
We okay? It's like, nah.
Someday, but not today. It's like when my wife gets mad at me. She's like, I love you,
Someday.
but I can't
Relatable.
forgive you today.
Yeah. And that's the
love you, but I
thing.
can't
Like
forgive you today.
you can't like, even in art, you can't let the characters apologize and go, sure, buddy.
Yeah, we're good. yeah. That's
No,
not the way
man.
things. Yeah.
Henry, I remember us having a very brief conversation at the aforementioned like midnight bar thing about Gil
The
Thorpe, and you were
argument?
like, he was like, I'm considering running Gil Thorpe in color. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, why not? Why can't I do that? And I was like, fuck it, I don't know. Why can't you? And then look at that, we have color. What came about that? You're just like,
I mean, maybe no. I think what I probably said was it's going to probably be in print, like as a graphic novel.
oh, okay. I was like, I misunderstood. I was like, it's in color. So I'm like, well, I don't know. Why can't you?
No. Hopefully, I can't talk about it yet, but you'll be the first to know when.
Can we get a graphic novel crossover between Gil Thorpe and Helm Greycastle?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. That would be great. But
That'd be awesome.
I don't want to. I don't want any. I can't. I don't really want to talk to any more lawyers than I have to. So
You know what? That's
I
fair.
bet.
That's fair.
yeah.
I
So
bet.
Helm,
I bet.
Greycastle, and Gil Thorpe will have to exist in its own legal parameters.
Legally distinct universities.
Yes.
God,
But yeah.
man,
So
you
hopefully,
play too much.
in soon we'll be able to, maybe, who knows, talk about a collected edition of the work I've done so far.
Nice.
Cool. That's exciting. That's exciting. And
Mhm.
there's another thing we mentioned that evening, thinking about drinks and whatnot. We've been hinting at it. That night was
Yeah.
interesting. I'm telling you. He opens the door and goes, "Do you want to see how comic books are really made?" And I was like, "Whoa,
Come
let's
on
go."
in.
But you have a book coming out, man. You talked about it, and I'm really excited because I'm a huge fan of '90s music and alcohol. I don't know if that's universal here or not, but the ultimate 90s cocktail playlist by Henry Barajas and Cassandra Reeder. Talk about this book.
Mhm.
Yes, that is exciting. It is the ultimate 90s cocktail playlist with inside editions. They make some beautiful, amazing hardcover cookbooks, cocktail books, tarot decks. And that's what I was originally supposed to write, a tarot deck. But
Really?
the editor
Okay.
was like, yeah, something happened with the license. And the editor was like, do you like 90s music? And
Hey.
I have a history of DJing, and I just love music in general. I mean, when I was a kid, and even to this day, it's still in my childhood living room. There's a 200 CD disc playing machine. So like at any given
Wow.
moment, it'd be like reggaeton, or it would be like, you know, oldies or country or pop or rap or you know. And my mom was loved calling the radio station and winning CDs.
Yes.
And she became a staple with the DJs. So we would constantly be just going there frequently and picking up stacks of CDs that they would get, you know, to review and to play on the radio station. So we just had new stuff all the time. And
I just took advantage of the fucking Columbia House 1,000
Penny.
CDs for a penny shit, and then randomly a bill shows up, and my dad's like, "What the hell is this?" And I go, "I don't know.
I don't
Well, we have
I'm
a bunch of
child.
CDs. I don't know."
As
I'm
a
like,
teenager,
okay.
I was always getting best of, because I'm like,
There
I'm
you go.
going to
Oh,
get
yeah.
the collection, you know. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what this is, right?
Well, this is, yeah. So the assignment was to come up with 75 songs, and my Cassandra Reeder, who, you know, God bless her, is an amazing mixologist and who created some of the coolest looking drinks. I don't know if anyone will actually be able to recreate these things, and I hope they do. And the funny part is, if you scroll down, or if you click, maybe,
See?
oh no, if you go to the Amazon,
Oh, the Amazon
Uh,
one?
yeah, if you go to
There's
Amazon, you'll
a
be able
link
to
right
actually
there.
see pages.
Oh yeah, if you
If you
click the
click it
picture up there,
yeah.
hit look up there. The photography is actually pretty damn good. Like they make them
Is
look
there?
pretty.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
was looking
So,
for. Ooh,
yeah,
Like I want
hit
I
next.
want
I
the
like that it's by
framed
year.
print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Groove is in the Heart. You know,
I
let's talk
want
about
Barbie
sex.
girl.
Yeah, there's the Barbie girl.
I want a picture of that frame.
There you go. The
Smells
old
like Teen
fashioned.
Spirit.
Does
There
this
we
drink
go.
actually
Smells
smell like Teen Spirit?
Well, you know, you got to make it and find out.
Gotta
And by
buy
the
the
way-
book.
By the way, I really appreciate the pun.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
it's good.
Cassandra. Yeah. I'm very much a purist. So, like, if the title is the title, you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cash rolls everything around me. That
My
looks
favorite
insane.
one is I don't think it's on here, but the
Barbie
Notorious
girl.
B.I.G.
Oh,
Tub humping.
top
Yes.
something.
Intergalactic.
One of my favorite
Yeah,
songs.
I mean it's real, like,
Oh, let me know.
and that was the thing, was like to be able to like bring, like, I got to work in bars, so I got to like give input on some drinks, like there's a
Yeah.
Dolly Parton drink, there's a Linda Ronstadt Tucson, you know, Tucson love, hometown, always having to put something.
So is there a Zach
Tucson
Wild
in.
one in here too? Like, I mean,
There is
how
no,
deep are we
see,
going?
that's the thing, like, you would be surprised how many good songs are in the 90s, Primo.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I
And they
mean,
all
I
make
mean,
it to the book. So that was the biggest problem, was like, we like Thong Song's not in it.
great 90s song too.
Yeah,
You kind of go back a couple pages, because if you go back, I think go back to look, and then maybe the first couple, there's actually is there a timeline?
yeah.
Go-
So
going-
it was chronological, and I like that.
It is
Yeah.
chronological.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're drinking.
Wait, hold on a
through the
second.
90s.
That first one under 1999, is that the real Slim Shady?
It is
Shut up.
It is the real Slim Shady.
Get out, Kevin.
Get up.
Oh my
Stand up.
god. There's one for
Get up.
Bittersweet
No,
Symphony.
I don't.
I'm
Is Get Up Stand Up
dead.
in here? That's not 90s.
That's
Get
not
Up, Stand
90s.
Up. Like Bob
You
Marley.
just said Get Up Stand
Bob
Up.
Marley.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, that's
Ooh,
not on there.
the fantasy. Mariah
Kiss
Carey.
from a rose.
There is. I mean,
Kiss
it's
from a
really like
rose.
we went out of our way to do a really cool playlist,
This
and
is,
to like
yeah.
do something that is just not the top stuff. We'd rather really try to go out of our way and do stuff that was, like that was good, that probably didn't get the notoriety or the chart, because at that time it was like what was on MTV, what was on the charts, and with the the Napster death of the music industry.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I mean, I remember a time we talked about the CD changer, right? All that.
Yeah.
We used to have like listening parties, right? Bring a CD and throw it on the mixer, and we just play music, and whatever comes up, and that was the whole fucking
8-track.
It's true.
Yeah.
I thought you said 8-track, not 8 something else.
Bring an 8.
You can bring an 8. So that's kind of party. But
I mean, it depends what you were doing in the 90s.
Exactly.
I mean, true. There's a lot of poison in the song.
That girl was poison.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think that's
poison.
Yeah, I think that's on there.
Yeah. It is on there. I saw it.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's real shout out to Cassandra, just someone who is so good at what they do, and she is just. It was a dream to work with her, and she made some. Like my favorite one was the Notorious B.I.G. Because it has a little burnt cinnamon piece of cinnamon on it, so it looks like a joint is in it. So.
Oh, nice. The cash, the cash was the cream one has a dollar bill on it.
Has a cream, you gotta have dollar bills.
Is that how you recommend people drink it, by the way?
Yes, roll it up and snort it through your nose.
Excellent.
Guy, all right. The challenge, the cream challenge.
The cream challenge.
Don't give TikTok ideas.
Fuck it. They ate Tide Pods for like 2 years. They can drink something through their nose.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
If you snort it and drink it fast enough, it should work. Yeah.
It should balance out, right? Doesn't it cancel each other out?
It goes right into the same hole. So.
I think that's one of the rules. Yeah.
Just like Kevin.
Yeah, it cancels. Yeah, right?
Just like what?
He fills the holes. It's the Kevin Garcia.
Yeah,
drinks.
so I don't know where that's going to be. I'm assuming bookstores, Spencer's,
Nice.
But we gotta buy it because we need to drink some of these drinks.
I mean, that's the cool thing about doing a book is that it's not just at comic book stores. You'll probably find it everywhere. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or nowhere. I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like it's
or a record shop, man. I would love to have it there.
Book for like discussions. Like, would you expect to see on people's living rooms just sitting right there?
You would. I would hope that people buy it. And for display purposes, they could do whatever they want with it. They can use it as a doorstop.
Just buy it.
Buy it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm definitely gonna get it and make my friend group be like, all right, we're having a 90s cocktail party. Everyone pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is like a mimosa, margarita, there's the old fashioned.
Yeah.
Which is my go-to. It is it's really cool. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but I think that's the trans flag colors.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was wondering.
Yeah, right. Like it's.
I mean, that's why the book's coming out in June.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this date was set a year ago. Like this,
because June.
So
because
who knows?
It's Pride Month.
It's also interesting to write something that is that has deadlines and communication and just real
team.
Yeah, it's a really cool. It was a really cool way to work.
It's an adult book. Is that kind of what you're saying? A grown-up book?
Well, it was cool to work in an adult, capacity. As where comics, it's normally I'm the person that has to pull the horse and the wagon and fix the broken axle and it's just so much work to where this was I did my job. There you go. And I'm done. And then hopefully people
pour yourself a drink from the book.
Go.
Play a song off the playlist.
Which year has the best drinks?
Ooh, whoa.
That is a good. That's a good question. But I think what's interesting about my research of the 90s was the 90s we think about is the late 90s.
Is it?
Yes. What do you think of when you think?
When I think of 90s clothing, I kind of think of early 90s with all the bright colors and Saved by the Bell and that kind of stuff.
Other people would think grunge, and grunge,
grunge.
Yeah, but when I guess what do you think is the quintessential 90s band?
90s
And this could be a
band?
question for everybody. Yeah, like when you think of the 90s,
God.
what's the band or what's the like song?
Well, Nirvana is literally stuck in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah, so
there's
91
that.
for you.
Yeah. I mean, also,
Soundgarden.
I'm also like the
Soundgarden,
oldest one
grunge.
here, so there's probably a
93.
reason why
Yeah.
early 90s are going to resonate with me.
Well, that was
But I mean, what was it? I mean, I grew up listening to pop, right? Everything that was on the radio when I was a kid, and I grew up in South Central. I grew up in LA, so hip hop, rap, everything for me was I connect the 90s too. It would be grunge, it would be just straight up Tupac and Biggie. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And then early 90s, I would say I was still listening to like shit. Wham was still a fucking thing. You know what I
80s,
mean?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Well,
late
and
80s stuff was
and it was
still a thing,
also
you
a
know?
time where, you know,
New wave started, right? That was like
music was television or radio or what you could afford to buy. So like it wasn't like now where there's just new stuff every Tuesday. You can listen to it immediately, you know. So yeah, so I think it's interesting that, you know, when I, you know, because I was like doing some research for it and talking to people about, you know, what they think the 90s was, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm working on another book. Can't really say what or when this deals with, but I'm back in this grind of listening to stuff.
Okay. Hey, man, I'm all about the music. I'm all about going back or just sharing that because we do that here. We talk about things we're into, be it music, be it books, be it whatever we're into. And right at this point of the show, we always try to bring something up that we've kind of been really hyper fixated upon recently or something we're really into, be it old or new or what have you. So, you know, let's start with Kevin. How about that? What's something that you've been kind of into recently, something that everybody can kind of go look into as well?
Well, right now there's some comics that I've been really getting into and really enjoying. Jonathan Hickman just wrapped up his first, I'm assuming, storyline of Gods, which is, by the way, G.O.D.S. for reasons that have never been explained. I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like cosmic and also his usual cloak and dagger weirdness. So it's always good. I mean, cloak and dagger in the sense that it's all spy stuff, kind of not the
actual characters.
Not the characters yet.
Right.
But I've also, you mentioned that you said you like Ultimate Spider-Man. I highly recommend the current Ultimate X-Men run by Peach Momoko. It's been getting a lot of detractors saying that it's too, well, they to say what kind of detractors it's getting, I really have to explain that Peach Momoko based the entire thing off of her childhood growing up in Japan. So naturally, that leads to people saying that it's not the X-Men they want it to be. I will say though that I really like it though. Give me a second. I'm going to try to put this up here for a second.
I mean, it's historically known that X-Men are the worst fan base. You know, it's just really
they
terrible people? Yeah.
Kevin, you're horrible.
I am.
Boo, Kevin.
Well, that's the thing. I actually have not been reading. I have not been reading a lot of X-Men lately.
Well, it's just like it's not Kevin, but it's the really like
it's Kevin.
Yeah,
it's always Kevin. It's always Kevin.
I'm just saying, like, when a person starts writing for X-Men or works on X-Men, there is a warning from other X-Men people to say, like, be careful. These people are very serious, you know, very, very protective of the most obscure characters you've never heard of and don't plan on even thinking about. And
I bet, man.
But yeah, no, I also hear that it's very good, but it's not a traditional X-Men comic.
Let's see.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a traditional X-Men comic, but it still feels X-Men. Instead of being about a team of kids, it's about one specific kid as she's realizing that she's different and weird and has something not natural happening to her. And it's like slowly she's being introduced. I don't even think they've said the word mutant yet. And it's this idea that she's slowly being introduced to this world of like something bigger is out there. And I think the art style alone is freaking people out. It's Peach Momoko's art, but it's also the story is quintessentially Japanese. I mean, it's dealing with stories of suicide and depression and things that are being brushed under the rug as adults don't want to discuss it. Yeah, these kids died. Let's not talk about it anymore. And at the end of each issue, Peach has a page up that kind of gives the cultural context for what was happening in that issue. And
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm loving it. I'm loving this. I'm loving Ultimate Spider-Man. And it's just, it's freaking me out how the haters are getting the bulk of the microphone, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I'm really enjoying it.
I adore this art. This is amazing.
I mean,
So
she's already
cool.
done a few other series for Marvel, but this is her
Yeah.
first, well, not her first, but this is her latest from scratch. That's just her take on the X-Men, and it feels very much like I'm reading a manga that is about
Yeah.
one girl figuring things out. But the thing is, it has all the stuff in there. There's the Shadow King. There's kids with powers that know something they haven't told her about yet. It's all kind of developing. It works really, really well. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. How about you, Freddie? What are you reading? What are you watching or listening to?
I'm doing a couple of them. So I have been reading a new book. Me and my son and my wife have been trying to do like a book club here at home, just to kind of keep him reading during the summer. Just because he reads comic books, but I want him to like read some novels, some books.
Wait! Time out. He's reading comic books.
He's reading now. Remember,
he said he wasn't reading comics.
He wasn't. Now he is, because I'm like, hey, let's go pick up some books. And he's like, I have comic books I can read. And I go, cool, we'll read those. Let's have a book club on that. It was fun to have a Watchmen book club. It was fun to have.
Wait, how old is your son?
14.
Okay.
But he's a mature 14-year-old. He's
sure.
He's very
I'm glad he's 14.
apt to it. Yeah, he's not.
Well, he's 2. We started him off with Watchmen.
Well, he wanted to read Animal Farm, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll read Animal Farm with you. Let's go.
It's got cute little animals in it. They talk.
Yeah.
And 2 legs bad, 4 legs good. Like that's trust me. But we went to the store, and he's really right now leaning towards horror. And so we found a book called Episode 13. Episode 13, and let me find the author for us. But it revolves around those shows you see like on Discovery, where they go like debunk haunted houses, and they go, oh, we're gonna go inspect this haunted house and see if it's really haunted by a ghost from the 1800s, And so it takes place with the team, and they actually have a web show, and it's the 13th episode of their first season. And they're blowing up. Like, they're just getting super popular. They're getting picked up by a network. And they're kind of hitting that threshold where in the beginning, it was a really good show because it's a husband and wife team with their friends. And the wife's a scientist. And her whole gig is to debunk everything. And so people love seeing that whole interaction, right? The husband's a 100% believer. The wife's like, no, it's not going to happen. But now it's kind of going downhill. No one's really digging the show anymore. It's kind of lost its magic. But they go to this place apparently that was a home, an institute that was built just to study the paranormal, and the whole crew in the 70s just disappeared, and then it was abandoned, and that property had never been investigated. No other show or team ever went there to look into it. Kids would hang out and party there. There'd be apparently they hear voices or see things, right? And the property is being sold. They're going to demolish it. So they're trying to go there before that happens. And this will be the episode that brings back the show. But when they go through it, it's actually like something dark and sinister is going on. So you get to see a peek of how, if you know anything about production, how reality shows are kind of doctored and, they're all not really reality. They're all doctored and controlled. There's actors. There's jealousy in between all of the pairs of the characters on the team. Someone wants to leave. They're throwing so much money at them to do a spinoff, but then at the same time, there's a fucking evil spirit in there, like poisoning them slowly, or like people are disappearing one by one. It's really, I haven't finished it yet. It's called Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey, and I'll show the cover here so you guys can take a look at it on stream here. Share, present real quick.
Saving it on Goodreads.
There it is.
But is it good?
That's what we'll find out.
That's a great cover.
Sorry.
That is a good cover.
Yeah.
See if it comes up. There it is. Episode 13.
Nice.
Great book. Great book so far. We're really enjoying it. So we're all reading it on our own. And then we're going to, talk about it and do all that. And then music-wise, because I talked about Stereolab last week, because I was all about Stereolab for a while. I have been head over heels over this person. I think I mentioned it last year, or end of the year music as well. Lola Young.
You know I'm impatient, so why would you leave me waiting outside the station when it was like -4 degrees? And I get what you're saying. I just really don't want to hear it right now. Can you shut up for like once in your life? Listen to me. I took your nice words of advice about how you think I'm gonna die lucky if I turn 33. Okay, so yeah, I smoke like a chimney. I'm not skinny and I pull a Britney every other week. But cut me some slack. Who do you want me to be? 'Cause I'm too messy and then I'm too fucking clean. You told me get a job and you asked where the hell I've been. And I'm too perfect till I open my big mouth. I want to be me. Is that not allowed? And I'm too clever and then I'm too fucking dumb. You hate it when I cry unless it's that time of the month. And I'm too perfect till I show you that I'm not 1,000 people I could be for you. And you hate the fucking law. You hate the fucking law. You hate the fucking law.
And Lola Young, man, has been just tearing it up for me. Some really raw emotion out of this woman. Her latest single is called "Messy," and it I don't know what it is, man. She tapped the nerve, and when I hear this song, it just hits where I get like I have to sit back and I don't know about you guys. I'll experience that song. It makes me shut the fuck up and like just sit there and listen and experience it. And all her stuff, you go down that rabbit hole with her stuff. It's raw. It connects on a certain level, man, that I haven't felt in a long time. So I can't say enough about Lola Young. And check out Messy. If Messy hits the chord with you, just go down that path. You won't regret it. Lola Young, 100%. 100%. Lola Young.
Oh, yeah.
Elliot, what about you?
Oh man, I feel like I got 2 weeks to catch up on stuff because I was sick last week. I'll real quick. I'm all caught up on Bridgerton. I'm still waiting for the Latinos to show up. However, honorable.
Are there Latinos in Bridgerton?
Not yet.
They have a lot of. There's a lot of cultural representation.
There is a lot.
Europe and Asia and Africa.
Yeah,
but
still no Latinos. However, in the latest episode, we get a whole new dump of them tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing after stream. But in the last episode, during one of the hot and spicy scenes, a rendition of Pitbull's song orchestrated classically was playing. So that's our Latino rep right there.
Are you?
Did you lose your shit?
Are you a Pitbull fan?
Oh, she's Mrs. Worldwide.
I am Mrs. Worldwide.
Look, there's Pitbull right there.
No. And it's so funny because everyone was telling me or like sharing like there's a Pitbull song. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll watch it. And it took forever to get there. I'm like, this better be good. And the scene where they played the song, I was like it was that kind of scene. So it's good. Still waiting for more Latinos, but we'll see. I will speed run the new movies that I've seen since last episode.
Let's do it. And I'll rank them
real quick. All right, Men in Black.
Dope, amazing.
Wait, the first one?
I like that. The
first Men in Black.
I haven't seen any of them.
Catching up.
Watch it. That was fun.
Awesome.
I already want to watch the second one. Corpse Bride. So I'm a Tim Burton person. That's not my favorite. I feel like they rushed it too much.
Agreed.
I feel like they needed to develop the story more. But
it doesn't have Tim Burton's strengths nor the animator's strengths. Like it's good, but it's not great.
It's not.
Well,
not
and we looked it up, and it came out the same year as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is also Tim Burton. So I'm like, why would you?
Yeah, but that one was more of his.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. The Producers.
I still haven't seen that yet. I need to watch that.
I love The Producers. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Okay, it's not my favorite. Awesome. Not my favorite, but it was fun.
I mainly need to watch it because it's like, as I understand it, the whole plot is basically what's happening to Max right now, to formerly HBO.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I gotta buy that this weekend. Yeah. The new House of Dragons coming out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about buying all of Max because
I'm buying all of HBO.
Pretty close.
I'm fixing
Get it away from that guy.
Space Jam. I'd never seen Space Jam, even though I was a '90s kid.
Nostalgia.
Amazing.
Nostalgia bomb.
I'm like, this is so meta. It's so meta and silly.
And now you're looking forward to the sequel?
There's a sequel?
It already is out. The one with LeBron James?
It came out a few years ago and it was a flop.
Oh.
It's on
It
Max.
also came
by
out
the
during
way,
the
I think.
pandemic.
Well,
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Dang. Well, I'll update y'all on that once I get HBO
Don
back.
Cheeto's on it.
It's for
Oh,
kids,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and they got
just
Michael
like the
Jordan in
first
it.
movie. So
Yeah.
maybe
yeah,
you'll
yeah.
like
It was
it.
enjoyable. It was camp. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
And finally, the Weird Al movie, the one where Daniel
Ooh,
Radcliffe plays Weird
I
Al.
need to watch that one
Radcliffe?
too.
I haven't watched
No
it.
joke, you guys. The humor is top tier. Like it's because it's
Everything
written.
about it looks good.
It's written as a spoof of his own life, and it's so unapologetic. Like the humor is unapologetic. It's. I was like, we had to pause it a few times because I was like wheeze laughing. No, I thought it was really well done.
And I've been a Weird Al fan since the 80s. I need to watch that.
Oh, then you'll love it. You'll have fun. You'll have fun.
A biopic
It's meta
I
in
want to watch
itself.
is the Pharrell Lego movie. Have you guys seen the trailer for that?
Oh yeah,
No.
I'm actually interested in that.
That looks
I
so
love
fucking
Lego movies.
good.
By the way,
Yeah.
biopic or biopic? I've always said biopic. I don't know.
I've always biopic.
Oh, I'm the one. I'm the
Are we
weird
gonna decide it right now?
Are we
voting?
I also say biopic. I didn't.
Okay, so it's 2-2.
Biopic.
All right, I feel fair on that. All right, 2-2.
All right, fine.
Okay,
We'll leave it alone. We'll
how
leave
do
it
y'all
alone.
pronounce collab? Collab or collab?
Collab.
Collab.
Biopic.
Well, that Pharrell
wins.
movie, like it's cool, and it's literally a Lego movie about his life. What the hell? I love it.
It's cute. I
Me and my
like
kid
it.
watched the trailer, and we're like, okay, who approached who? Did Pharrell say,
Yeah.
I want to make a Lego movie? Or did the people go, hey, Pharrell, let's make a Lego movie? And like,
No,
he's like,
it's got to have been
someone's like,
Pharrell. It has to have been.
you go, Pharrell
Yeah.
did. That's all Pharrell all the way. So I love the Neptunes. I love all that
Somewhere out
stuff. So
there-
I'm excited.
Somewhere out there's the first person to do a stop motion Lego thing and post it on the internet. And that person created an entire genre now.
Yeah.
You know, I want to know who that is.
Right.
I think
Henry, you know,
the best Batman.
Lego Batman's hilarious. It's fucking awesome.
The best
so
Batman
meta,
movie.
too.
Best Batman movie.
Well, that went to theaters. The best Batman movie that went to theaters.
I do like Batman
Like, no.
in feudal Japan fighting the Joker. That was a great one.
That one
I love
didn't go
that
to
one.
theaters.
It was so good. I watched it like twice. I
like
mean, it
the
was so
one where
good because
Kids from the Rose
every
plays.
trope, every anime trope was in that fucking movie. They fought mechs out of like
That's cool.
castles and so good. I'm sorry,
I
Henry,
only
I'm
saw that scene.
cannibalizing your
It
time.
looked fun.
It's
Henry's
so
like,
good.
I
It's
wanna
so good.
leave.
What about you, Henry?
No,
What are
no,
you? I
no.
mean, you're reading books, you're drinking drinks, singing songs. What are you? What is going on with you right now?
What's
can you
going
recommend
on?
for people out there?
Yeah, a friend of mine, Tina Horn, put out a new comic called D-Prog. It's about a private investigator who helps people escape cults.
Oh
And
shit!
She
Cool.
operates out of a old school video rental store. That's where her
Nice.
office is. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it is rated mature, so it's not for the Primo Freddy family book club. So you'll have to wait for that one.
We'll see, man. I mean, we're working our way through the Tarantino catalog right now.
Yeah,
and
there you
God.
we
go.
got as far as
Um,
yeah,
But
we're
it's
not
probably
we're Jackie
appropriate
Brown.
it's probably appropriate for Elia Media's streamer fans. So that's got to
there you go.
Yeah.
They're the right
There
shirt.
you go. There you go.
I rent a lot of stuff from the library, so I rented Todd Browning's sideshow Shockers and recently watched Freaks. It's a 1932
Oh, okay, yeah.
film.
Looking that up.
I've always heard about it. I've always seen stills and
So you're finally one of us.
a freak. Yeah.
No, yeah,
no-
one of us. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Isn't
it's
such-
an
such a good
incredible movie.
The ending
Yeah.
is weird, but it's such a good movie.
Well, so I have the DVD. It's the Criterion Collection version. So they have like a explanation that they had to alter the ending because it was too sad, and so there is a line in the ending that doesn't give you the full context, but it kind of does.
Yeah.
It's a really wild movie. There's a graphic novel out there called Nobody's Fool by Bill Griffith, and he has been doing Zippy the Pinhead comic strips for years, but he did the the biopic comic.
Whoa, tide has turned.
I lost.
Of Zippy the Pinhead.
I love that you brought up Freaks. That's a movie that has a lot of people with like limb differences, body
Yes.
differences, facial differences. The main character is a little person, and then there aren't a lot of movies with that in it. And one of my favorites as a kid was Time Bandits, and as I understand it, they are remaking Time Bandits right now without a single little person.
Oh wow.
And when Terry Gilliam, the original director, found out, he literally just walked out of the set, and he's like, "Wow, I can't believe that."
Yeah,
and it's like, what happened? Why?
yeah,
Like they made a TV series out of
pre-coded,
Willow. Yeah, it's pre-code. The movie's
It's
amazing.
pre-code, so it's a pretty interesting movie. It was not well received when it came
No.
out,
Definitely a cult
but it has
classic.
since got its flowers. It is it's an interesting film. I'm also like doing a noir, so I've been stuck in 1930s. So if I were to tell you what I'm listening to and reading, I would sound like 100-year-old boring man.
You might.
What's
sound
the
like me.
100-year-old boring man playlist right now? Give me a couple songs, man.
Oh well, I think
Do it.
mean
He's like Andrew's sisters.
you would probably I think everybody here would probably dig an old school band that came out in the 90s, because so like one of the goals of like this comic I'm writing that I don't really want to get to, it's a Chicano
Yeah, you're good.
noir, but it's called Pachuco Boogie.
I dig the
which
name already.
gives a lot away of what I'm doing, but where is there? Here we go. But yeah, check out Pachuco Boogie. That's a good one.
When it comes out.
No,
That's the name of the song.
I mean,
okay. I thought you said that was the name of your. I think you said
No.
Spotify, Pachuco Boogie. All right, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll put it on.
So
put our
yes,
notes
the
here.
idea was to incorporate like jazz that was made by Mexican American brown people into the story, because you never see it unless you're
100%.
watching the movie Pachuco,
which is a classic.
or The
Pachuco.
Mask. I consider Jim Carrey's The Mask Mexican representation.
You know
'cause he
what?
is
You
a
know
sure.
I
It's
mean,
true.
it's got a Latina
Watch
in
it.
it. It's the Cameron
There's
Diaz.
literally a Pachuco song in it. Hey,
Yeah.
It literally is named
Pachuco!
Pachuco, but Big Bad
Yeah.
Voodoo Daddy, right?
He's wearing he's wearing a Pachuco.
He's wearing
suit.
a
No,
suit.
Royal Can Review.
Yeah.
Royal Can Review. I forgot. I used to know who it was. I think it was Royal Can Review or Big
Cherry
Bad Voodoo
Poppin'
Daddy.
Daddies who did
Pachuco?
Zoot Riot.
They did Zoot Suit Riot.
Yeah.
Pachuco, I believe, was. Ooh, you're gonna make me look it up. Damn it! I hate
I
looking up
don't
stuff.
know.
Royal Can Review. I knew it. Royal
There
Can
you
Review.
go. You got
Yeah,
it.
Royal Can Review. Yeah.
So,
No, I love all that stuff. Like I'll sit here and just listen to everything people can recommend me. I have this whole thing where I tell
there you
people,
go.
"Hey, check this out." And no one listens to me for like 2 years, and then later on they blow up, and they're like, "I fucking told you 2 years
Yeah,
ago." This was the
I've
person
got
to listen
Lola
to.
Young on the queue, so I'm
Please do, and tell me what you think, man. But primos, this is ending our show tonight. I want to thank, of course, Mr. Henry Barajas
thank
for
you
joining us.
having me.
Henry, no, where can people find you, man? Just shout out your socials or anything else you want to throw out there. Just take the floor.
Well, we were talking about Kara. You can find me there. I'm everywhere. You can find me in the Gilthorpe comment threads, having arguments with 80-year-olds, and in the hotel lobby bars in Texas.
Having arguments with bartenders.
Having arguments with primos. And teaching bartenders how to make a drink.
All right, Henry, right now, what is the straight up most basic? What is that cocktail? What is the old fashioned that we need to make?
You have to buy the book.
That's fair.
Look at
That's
that
fair.
marketing.
There it
Buy
is.
the book. Buy the book, everybody. At Henry J. Barajas. Elia, is there anything you want to promote? I know you have some cons coming up this week. By the time this posts, I think you have something coming up.
Yeah, I do have a con this weekend. So by the time this is up, it'll already be done. But be looking out on my socials. I'm going to be part of 2 TTRPG streams coming up for charity on 2 separate channels. One on Wesselhausen, one on Another World Tabletop. So look out for those. Join in if you can, and let's raise some money for charity.
Agreed.
Definitely.
And the Primos need to do a TTRPG at some point. We really do.
It's
Soon.
happening. It's something's in the works. We can't talk about it. Be like Henry, I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Something in the
If I
works.
could, I
but
would. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I am.
We've been there. I
worst.
believe you, man. I believe you. That's
I
what.
would
That's what.
tell everyone
that's what
everything. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hotel bar conversations are for.
Yeah.
Kevin Garcia, what do you have coming up? Is there anything coming up that we need to look out for, or where can we? Are you back on TikTok?
I have ended my self-imposed exile as, they were literally flagging, like, again, I don't have a number, 3 out of every 5 videos, I don't know. But because 4 of them got flagged permanently, they said if a 5th one within 30 days gets flagged, I would get banned. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to post until those 30 days have run out. Well, those 30 days have run out, so I'm posting again. And right now, honestly, I keep checking it to see if it's got another flag notification. I keep checking. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Watch out, TikTok. He's going to come with a flood. He's going to just overwhelm it.
Yeah, we'll see. Also, I've got a couple of conventions coming up, Greater Austin Comic Con, and this little one that I think some of you guys have heard of called the Texas Latino Comic Con in Dallas.
What?
Oh yeah, WrestleCon, LuchaCon. Yeah, it's coming up. I think, right? LuchaCon is happening. Yeah, we've heard about that one. It's coming up July 20th. We will be there. I don't know. I know Henry was a guest last year, so we hung out.
Yeah, I had an amazing time, and I hope you all have a good old fashioned Latino time.
Old fashioned. Get it?
That was totally planned.
Yes, it was.
Very much.
All right, so
much.
now replay the episode back and drink every time we make a reference to an old fashioned.
Yeah,
that's the built-in drinking game for today.
There you go.
Are you trying to knock out our listeners? Oh man.
Be it old-fashioned movies, old-fashioned music, old-fashioned. Look at that! It just comes up over and over again.
So when
but I'm gonna give you guys.
You gotta make the cocktail. Do that back.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a whole thing. We drink it, we listen to it, we watch it.
The next book is going to be the My Primos drinking game.
Yeah,
it's going to have a list of all the best drinks.
Right. Every time we interrupt each other, we take a drink. Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah. So anyway.
And anytime somebody introduces themselves by saying hi to themselves.
That's every episode.
Or
we get 4 shots right there.
To me and Holes.
Wow.
There's a lot of that going on, everybody. I'm gonna give you an old
Primos, uncomfortable family.
It's the best kind of family. What are you talking about?
Talk. It's everything, man. It's everything. This is what we're all about. This is what Primos do, man. We hung out. If we can't drink together, we can talk about drinking together. But Primos, thank you guys for listening. As always, watch us on YouTube, Spotify, and of course, check out our website at myprimospodcast.com. And Primos, as always, no matter where you're from, we're all Primos. Good night.
Resalta mi amor, como un árbol de frutas es mi amor.
My Primos Podcast is produced by Chikume. This episode was hosted by Elia Maria Madrid. Check her out at Spice Illustration. Kevin Garcia. Look for his socials at KevinGarcia_com. We want to thank our guest, Mr. Henry Barajas. Check him out at Henry J. Barajas on all social media. And check out Gila Girl coming out this week, June 19th at your local comic shop. Music is provided by Team Color. Check out their amazing music at Team Color Music. And of course, Primos, you can check out the show's website at myprimospodcast.com and all of our social media at This is Primos Freddy. And as always, remember, no matter where you're from, we're all Primos. Till next time. Primos.
Había un árbol de besos dulces, besos secos, besos amargos y de besos ciegos.